Hi everyone, this is me, Jyotika Bedi, founder of Happiness is Love. Together, we are building a better world and we believe we can make relationships stronger because the only source of happiness today is the quality of our relationships. So welcome back to our relationship skills series. Like I said, there are very important skills that we are not taught in order for us to lead happier and successful lives. These are our interpersonal skills, people skills, positive work skills, relationship skills, and self-management skills. And that is why we do the kind of work so that you, me, all of us together can build a stronger future generation. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about something which is very close to my heart: conflict resolution and negotiation. See, conflict is never the problem. We all want happy, healthy relationships, but we don't realize that conflict is never the problem. Reconciliation and resolution time is most important. The trick lies in not having any conflict, but resolving every conflict as soon as we have it. And again, we are not taught tools or techniques so that we can manage our conflicts in a healthier manner. So today I'm going to share with you how in my own life conflicts have helped me grow, learn, share. And today I'm making this video because I believe that in the middle of crisis, in the middle of conflict, lies huge potential, lies huge opportunity for your growth and transformation. On its own, conflict is a relatively easy term to define. Let's call it a disagreement or an argument based on perceived differences, maybe incompatibility or violation of a shared information. Although not individuals will define the word using this precise terminology, the concept of conflict is widely accepted. We all understand. However, other factors associated with conflict are much more misunderstood. And it is very important for us to understand what is functional versus dysfunctional conflict. For example, consider the perception of a conflict as it relates to business or maybe your interpersonal relationships. Most people consider conflict as inherently negative. This is universal. A force that disrupts a working environment, prevents individuals from reaching a successful outcome, and negatively impacts our emotional and mental well-being. However, these descriptions are only true of dysfunctional conflict. There is also something called functional conflict. By contrast, challenges, these people look at crisis as challenges they experience. They look at it as growth opportunity. In fact, studies have shown that constructive conflict is actually healthy for our relationships. It's beneficial because you have to really find that win-win balance. Experiencing conflict can actually influence in us striving to work harder, to be propelled to a particular goal. We work more diligently when there is something that disrupts the pot, stirs the pot. It improves our individual performance. I am here to tell you, by engaging in effective conflict resolution and learning negotiation skills, we can all learn to manage our differences, develop better communication skills, and learn to work collectively as a team. Because life is what? Life is all about a partnership. We all, whether I'm a parent or a partner or a professional, We all have to learn to deal with conflict in a positive way. So my next suggestion or observation would be on what is conflict resolution really? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Anyone with a general idea regarding conflict is told to develop a different kind of understanding so that you can resolve the conflict. But the question is, what is my understanding of the word conflict resolution? And if this is oversimplified, conflict resolution is really resolving any conflict or difficulty that comes your way. But we all have negative assumptions, negative core beliefs regarding our conflicts. So it's very important that I refer to conflict resolution as a process by which two or more different parties reach a peaceful, positive solution. So instead of focusing only on the problem, the goal is to focus on the solution and approach it in a way that you learn techniques, negotiation techniques that can help you resolve the conflict in an effective manner. While most of us like to avoid conflict, we like to hide from conflict. However, we need to learn to deal with conflict so that we can become more compatible. We can appreciate our differences better and reach a common goal. So how does negotiation really relate to conflict resolution? On the face of it, negotiation is really a discussion to resolve a dispute or reach an agreement between two or more parties. It appears very similar to a broader concept of conflict resolution. However, the two concepts exist separately, and one may affect the other at any given time and during a given dispute. Let me give you an example. For example, two parties may experience conflict during the whole negotiation process and seek conflict resolution so negotiations can continue. Similarly, two or more parties experiencing a conflict may find that the primary conflict is a dispute that might best reach a solution only via a negotiation. We do this as parents. When our children become teenagers, we become great negotiators because the goal really is to hear and be heard, to seek to first understand before we are understood. So for example, individuals entering into conflict resolution due to workplace incompatibility may ultimately uncover that the source of conflict is really a difference of opinion regarding a timeline or a budgetary concern. The individuals could then enter into a negotiation to agree upon a finalized timeline and finalized budget for the project. So what are some of the potential sources of conflict during a negotiation? It is relatively common to experience conflict in the middle of negotiation, in the middle of reaching a win-win agreement. Two parties who enter in this process have to arrive at a goal which is win-win. You have different goals, you have different outlooks, you have different communication style, which then proves to be a source of conflict. Other times, situations may occur during the negotiation process that effectively stall the entire process of conflict resolution, and negotiation strategies have to be then used. Conflict again can arise due to differences in perception, differences in goals, differences in personality styles, differences in values and core beliefs, differences in power, status, influence, and expertise, communication issues including language barriers, differences in cultural differences, gender differences, confusion regarding roles and responsibilities, lack of resources, misunderstandings related to all the above. When one or more of the above conflicts or other conflicts occur during this negotiation process, both parties must address each other before continuing the negotiation of the original agreement. Otherwise, what happens? The parties will they will be unable to utilize functional conflict resolution techniques, and this will not promote progress towards a common goal. So make sure that we don't enter the dysfunctional conflict zone, because this will hamper the whole process. So we have to make sure that we employ conflict resolution during negotiation. And as I've mentioned, it isn't always easy. Conflict is something that needs to be managed. When conflict arises, the negotiation process and the strategies are something that you have to make sure that you think in a way that is beneficial to both parties. What do you need to do? First, address the conflict, not the person. When other people become a source of frustration, it is important to direct attention to the issue at hand instead of the person's personality. Separate the person from the problem. Similarly, avoid responding to personal attacks. Focus on the source of the problem and the way negotiation can be addressed. What we tend to do is we tend to focus only on the source of the problem. We have to get to the solution of the problem. So make sure that you address the conflict, not the person. And as they say, 90% of conflicts usually arise because of wrong tone of voice or wrong use of word. We have to be cognizant. We have to be aware of our language, because language matters. So make sure that you frame what you're saying and how you're saying it before you enter that negotiation process. Second, engage in active listening. Conflict resolution requires you to first be a good listener. Listen to what the other person is saying, and with this, you will see that the other party will feel more heard, will feel more engaged, will feel more understood, and this in itself is magical. And when you do listen, you listen by repeating what the other person has said so that you can repeat back critical information, reaffirm statements, and constantly maintain eye contact. The result is deep understanding of the issue. And the negotiator feels that you are understanding their needs and want, and there will be mutual trust that will grow from this. Make sure you find shared interests. Although it is crucial to identify needs and desirable outcomes before your negotiation begins, but when conflict arises, it is important to identify the other negotiators' needs and find common ground. Redefine the issue so that both sides can identify the needs and achieve a win-win balance. No matter how small it is, work together to find that win-win solution. Set an objective. Of course, the desired outcome of the conflict resolution is an end to the conflict, so negotiations can continue. However, it is critical to develop an objective way to work. Temper your emotions. Make sure that you come from a place of objectivity. If the goal of the negotiation is to solidify, let's say, a business deal, and the conflict really revolves around price structure, the objective could be to compromise to an acceptable price that provides value for the client and profit for the company. The win-win in this solution is a clear objective that requires give and take. And if you're a parent struggling with a teenager and you're wanting to resolve a conflict, make sure you sit down with an objective so that you can reach that win-win balance. Determine the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. I call it BATNA. A skilled negotiator enters the discussion with BATNA in mind, which is best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And this requires you to embrace conflict as an opportunity for growth, for learning, for transformation. And this is what fosters better emotional and mental health. So I hope this video was useful. Please embrace conflict, because conflict is a natural, healthy, and an important part of our lives. All we need to do is learn the skills to manage it in a healthy manner. Thank you for supporting, cheering, and liking. Keep smiling, keep shining, and keep inspiring.